Now we will be moving right along. Coming onto the stage is now Team 5. Let us warmly welcome Traders to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Talaris Capital and represented by me, Henuk, and our teammate Barakat, Redit, and Tzita. Our team is studying the market where it got a wrong story because that is where values are hide. And today we found jazz exactly upside. Exactly undervalued and ready for upside. So let's show you why we said that. So let's begin from you can get Jazz Pharmaceutical on Nasdaq with the ticker of Jazz with current price of 177 and target price of 230 with 30% of upside, and we recommend strong buy. So these are our investment thesis, which is defensible neuroscience core, high growing oncology, and MA driven portfolio expansion. So when we move on, the company profile, Jazz Pharmaceutical is led by a CEO of Really Gala, and she has more than 30 years of experience on this field, and she even worked as CFO and CEO of a company, and she was succeeded by a founder, Bruce Cozart, and he was currently works as executive chairman. And this company is founded in 2030, and its current market cap is 11.7. And what generally just do is try to identify, develop, and commercialize a drug in especially rare disease on the field of neuroscience and oncology. When you see neuroscience, we have they have a drug called Xywav, which is used for a treatment of narcolepsy, and it is also the first and only FDA-approved treatment for idiopathic hypersomnia. And the next drug is Epidiolex, which is also the first and only plant-based cannabinoid, which is used for pediatrics epilepsy. And when you see Epidiolex is become a blockbuster by achieving 1 billion revenue in 2024. And when you see oncology franchise, they have the Zepzelca, and recently FDA approved as the first line of treatment in ES extensive stage of small cell lung cancer, and this will increase it triples addressable market. And the next one is Tsihira, and FDA also approved this as a second line of treatment for HR2 positive biliary tract cancer. And finally, they have a drug called Rylis, which is used for treatment ALL and BLL type of leukemia. And because of there is no direct competitor, the Jazz Pharmaceutical holds 70 to 80% of the market cap. So when you move to the next part, most of the revenue came from United States and USA, and it's currently expanding its revenue beyond that. And when we compare last year Q3 revenue and this year Q3 revenue, the 6.7 year-over-year growth. And when you see the general trend of the 5 years, their revenue is growing in 11.4%, and their EBITDA also growing in 15% growth. And as you see, unlevered cash flow is also decreasing in 2021 because of GW acquisition, and this start increasing from since that. And thank you. Reddit will continue to the next part.
Thank you. So our investment investment thesis drivers are as follow. Our driver one is that defensible neuroscience core. So there is RMS, which is a restricted drug safety distribution system. So Jazz's neuroscience business is strongly protected by this. So only approved doctors in pharmacy can have the hold of these drugs, giving Jazz about 40 to 50% of the control of the narcolepsy market, and also driving the market visibility to 92%. And the other benefit is from 7-year US and 10-year EU orphan drug exclusivity. This prevents new interests and also secures longer-term revenue. And other benefit is there is a clinical differentiation, which is there is a reduction of 92% sodium on the Xywav drug. So there is 95% of patient preference for this sector. And the other benefit is that the drug titration takes weeks, and there is a desterilization risk. So if the patients switch, the risk is high. So there is 95% of patient retention. And other driver is high-growth oncology platform. Zepzelca is approved as first-line treatment and oncology sector. So it can increase the number of patients from 12,000 to 20,000, 30,000, and it is expected to triple in 2029. And there is Tsihira, which is in the third phase of readout, so with 75% of success probability. And our last but not least driver is M&A. Jazz is known for its smart acquisitions like Orphan Medical, which established the franchise of the narcolepsy market, and USA, which established oncology sector, and GU Pharmacy, which added Imperolex to the sector and around 1 billion annual revenue, and Chimrix, which strengthens the oncology sector. Radit will continue.
Now we see industry trend. Jazz Pharmaceuticals operates in the booming orphan drug and specialty pharma market, and this sector is growing at a rate of 8 to 10% compared to the primary care. And this company is focusing on the treatment of oncology and neuroscience, which generate a premium valuation due to a high unmet needs. And the consolidation also accelerating, like strategic buyers like Johnson & Johnson's and BMS will acquire this orphan assets with high multiples, 14 to 17 times. Now, the challenge for any pharma company is defending a new entrant, like defending a market share against a new entrant and competitive threats. But this company have a strategic solution in leveraging regulatory moats and improve a clinical differentiation to manage their risks and to maintain their leadership. So when we see one of their products, Xywav, they have a competitor, Avadel Lumeris, which is compete in convenience, but still they have a 60% growth rate year over year. And the second product is Epidolix. It's a unique FDA approved and FDA approved. And the last one is Reynolds. They don't face any competition from this product, so this will ensure their reliable revenue and minimal risk. Now let's see how they address the risk. The first risk is patent cliff and generic entry. In 2023, the Xyrem generics enter in the market, and it will lead to decline the revenue 59%, and the success of Xyrem which is Xywav will face this in 2033. So they have a mitigation strategy for this risk. The first one is a REMS control distribution, and the second one is a clinical differentiation, which is Xywav, which is 92% reduction in sodium, which is preferable by the patient. And the third one is a portfolio diversification on oncology. And the second risk is pricing pressure, and this is offset by a non-cyclical demand and orphan drug exclusively. And the third one is a competitive pressure, and this is mitigated by the company addresses approximately 50% of the market share and have 95% of a patient retention.
The other risk is regulatory and REMS modification. Our main concern is that any action from FTC or congressional actions could weaken REMS protection over the CNS portfolio, but a federal circuit ruling affirmed REMS. The federal circuit ruling affirmed REMS as a legitimate tool, which shows regulatory management. And the other risk is leverage and refinancing. Jazz currently have high net debt, which can force refinancing. But our mitigation is at a strong free cash flow over 1.3 billion annually, which can give Jazz's management.
Maybe I can start with the easy one. Why 230? Why not 210? Why not 260? If you take me through how you arrived at 230.
We use a triangulation method using DCF, comparable comparisons and precedent transaction. When we see the DCF part, we use the 4.5 cumulative annual growth rate over the 5 years to get a base case target price of 218 with a 23% upside and the very full case target of 288. We will use comparable company analysis. Judges can trade at a 3. EV over sales, 3.5 times, but compared to a peer median of 4.9 times, we're seeing at a discount. So we use those asset rating scenarios to value our company, and we got a base case of $204, and we used M&A precedent takeover premiums also as a valuation, 6% premium valuation to get a base case of 283, and we triangulated these three valuations, giving 45% weight to DCF, 30% to comps, and 25% to recent transaction, and we got a base case of $230, which is our primary target.
It seems sort of this company seems reasonably undervalued, supporting your thesis on sales to EBITDA, so EV over sales and EV over EBITDA. But it's overvalued on an EV to EBIT basis. There's something in depreciation and amortization that I'm missing. Can you explain the difference?
Can you repeat the question, please?
It seems undervalued on an EV sales and an EV EBITDA basis, but it's overvalued on an EV EBIT basis.
Yeah, that's because of the pharma industry. They have a really big intangible asset amortization, so that really doesn't.
And the others don't? The others don't?
We didn't use that. We used EV over sales only for our valuation purposes. We just use that to see what currently is that.
And actually, the reason I asked that question is they seem to be overpaying compared to the market. So when they're buying to fill the pipeline, they seem to be paying more than the market on the face of it. So my real question underlying both of those is then, what are they doing to ensure their future pipeline? How do they differentiate themselves from the peers to maintain the future product portfolio given the cliff and the competitive environment?
Okay, so how do we survive from its competitor? It's because of its motto. The first one is he has orphan drug, which is protecting him from its competitor in USA for 7 years, in Europe for 10 years, which protect any entry from to the market, and also he controls risk mitigation. Risk mitigation, RSM, which is used to protect him from any entry from any entry, new entry to the market.
And there is a 2% sodium reduction in their Xywav, which lowers the risk of cardiovascular disease. So patients prefer it.
So I may ask a little bit about, in one of your documents here, it shows that the annual patient expense is somewhere around $280,000 to $320,000 per person. If it was in Canada, I would say it's free because the government pays for it. United States is usually insurance. So insurance keeps fighting you to say, we're not going to pay this kind of stuff. We want some sort of cheaper medicine. So considering that, and also the other product also being another $350,000 to $400,000 per patient, have you looked into the potential of losing market because of that, especially with changes in the United States?
Yeah, there is a really high pressure from payers But what justifies this really high patient cost is there isn't really anybody like many companies finding solution for this patients because there is a really small amount of people. That's basically what orphan drug exclusivity is. There are only under 200,000 patients in the US, so it's really R&D intensive, so that justifies the high pricing.
Okay, so in that case, the growth on these two product line would be less than. Would you basically they wouldn't be selling as much product as they would normally do because it's an expensive product?
Yeah, it's an expensive product, but people need to get treated. So people that can afford it get treated, and yeah, there is a really high pricing pressure from payers, but their market position will depend on if we see the product. There are other generics, but it has a 92% less sodium intake, so that sodium lowering means less cardiovascular risk. So it's a clinical differentiation issue.
So, to general speaking, we know the price is high, but they are working on rare diseases, which is happening almost in rare cases. So there is a lot of researching and development costs, and that's why the government, the FDA, gives them orphan drug protection. So any company cannot get into the market and try to sell any medicine which can treat the same disease as they are doing.
And so it's kind of an extension of that question, if I may. Sales into Europe are limited. Why is that, and what plans do they have to change it? Sales into Europe?
Okay.
Small.
So most of their revenue comes from United States, and this is because of infrastructural availability, and also there is high number of diagnosed people with that rare diseases, so they don't get into the environment which is not diagnosed with such kind of diseases.
This is a very difficult